Hello, we are going to talk about the energy systems and most specifically the glycolysis system in the anaerobic state. So basically this is glycolysis, the first part of it, where you don't need oxygen. You do not need oxygen. So in order for glycolysis to get kicked off, we need to use glucose to get it going. So there's two places we can get it. We can get it from blood glucose or muscle glycogen. So here we have blood glucose, and it will take 2 ATP in order to get things started. Yes, it costs some energy to make energy. So the result from this, after a bunch of chemical reactions, which we will not go over, the result of this is 2 pyruvate, 4 ATP, and 2 NADH. Okay, this is probably the most important thing to know about this. So you get 2 pyruvate, 4 ATP, and 2 NADH. Now, if we take glucose from our muscle glycogen, then it will only cost us 1 ATP. So that will cost 1 ATP to get us kick-started with our glycolysis. And muscle glycogen is basically stored glucose in the muscle. Alright, so our result from this is the same. It's 2 pyruvate, 4 ATP, and 2 NADH. So when we're looking at this, we can see that we spent our 2 ATP or $2, and out of it we got $4 or 4 ATP. So we made a profit of 2 ATP or $2. And when we use the glucose from our muscles, it costs us 1, and we end up getting a profit of 3 because we make 4 ATP out of it. Now, once this turns into pyruvate, so we're going to look at 1 pyruvate here. It has 2 pathways it can go. It can either go lactate or it can go to the Krebs cycle. Now, with the pyruvate turning into lactate, that occurs whenever there is no oxygen, and with the Krebs cycle, when there is enough oxygen. So there is oxygen. So there's a Krebs cycle, and here's our lactate. Contrary to popular belief, lactate does not cause fatigue. It's actually been found that hydrogen is what causes our fatigue due to metabolic acidosis. Basically, the pH or the acidity in our blood increases, and the pH, which basically means the pH decreases, and we won't get into that too much, but basically hydrogen is what causes it. Alright, so because we're talking about the anaerobic without oxygen today, we're going to go through the lactate system. And your body will decide this because you'll be doing something really intense where you're not going to have enough time to get oxygen. Okay, so through lactate, we're going to go through this Cori cycle in order to turn our lactate back into glucose. So down here, I'm going to create a muscle for you where our glycolysis will occur. So our glycolysis occurs in here. So our glucose turns into pyruvate, and pyruvate turns into lactate. And from here, lactate will travel into the blood. And our blood is like our transport system. It's like our roadway for lactate. A lactate will drive or flow through the blood into the liver. And here's my funny looking liver. So lactate goes into the liver, and it will go through, again, some chemical processes, which we won't go over, but all you really need to know is that what will happen is it will turn into glucose, and from there, the glucose can turn into glycogen in the liver. Or it can be kicked back out into the blood. So here we made our glucose. Now our glucose is going to go back into the bloodstream and to our muscle. And then either our muscle can use it through glycolysis or it can store it as glycogen. And then thus starts the cycle again. So basically the glucose could be used for glycolysis again and then turn it back into lactate and so on and so forth. So there you have it. That is the glycolysis system, the anaerobic glycolysis part of anaerobic part of the glycolysis system. Thanks for watching, and if you have any questions, please leave a comment down below, and I'll try to answer them as promptly as possible. And I'll see you next time.